Jon Jones needs 6 months to train after the fight is signed and official in order to fight Tom Aspinall.
I was told that John wants 6 months to prepare if the fight is locked in. And what's 6 months from now? September? Now I'm sure, money talks, but it
Summer.
feels like it feels like the summer, the if that is the goal, it's starting to slip away a little bit.
Being that the fight, even if it was signed right now, could not happen until September. And the fight hasn't been signed yet. So who knows when Jon Jones is going to accept the fight, and whenever he does, then he needs another half a year to train for Tom Aspinall before he actually fights him. So it could be by the end of the year, it could be next year, it could be, he could have already signed it. But we have no idea when Jon Jones is going to accept the Tom Aspinall fight. And the more time passes, the more it seems like the fight is not going to happen. And with this new condition, I guess, it's like he's acting as if he didn't know he was going to fight Tom Aspinall, when Tom Aspinall's been the interim champion for a year and a half, right, since November of 2023. And Jones's last fight was a year after that, November of 2024. So at the very least, he knew that he was going to fight Tom Aspinall since 5 months ago. So what does the 6-month training camp even mean? And it's excessive, right? Nobody trains for 6 months to fight somebody, especially the champion getting ready for the #1 contender. Right, the champion needs half a year to prepare himself for the #1 contender, not the #1 contender training for the champion, right? All Tom needs is a regular 2-month training camp to fight him, and that's it. And it's such an excessive training camp. It raises the risks of injuries. He can overtrain, get injured off of that. Most fighters' injuries come from training camps, and there's always like this stress or anxiety of having the opponent on their mind throughout their training camp. And imagine that's onward for half a year, right? And we know Jon Jones likes to party too, right? He's partied during training camps before. I can't imagine he goes half a year without drinking or partying or whatever it is. And there is a difference between a training camp and just training, right? Just training is going to the gym, learning some skills, going through some conditioning workouts and stuff like that, right? Maybe once a day, 5 days a week, something like that. Training camp, you're training multiple times a day, intense workouts. Your coach is working on a game plan and getting you to drill techniques to perfection specifically for the opponent. It's very strenuous on the body and on the mind. Imagine going through all of that for 6 months. That doesn't seem logical. I don't think Jones would actually do that. And the thing is, Jones is not stupid, right? Jones has the highest fight IQ out of any fighter we've ever seen. He understands a training camp that long doesn't make sense. So I don't quite understand why he wants to do that. Like, why is that part of the conditions? Could it be a convenient injury during that long training camp? But can this also be a negotiation tactic? Maybe to get more money from the UFC. He's probably telling them that he will fight Tom for that amount of money, but then he needs 6 months to train. But he was shorten the training camp for more money. I mean, this fight is so big for the UFC. It's so big for all the fans. Everybody wants to see it. And Jon Jones could be using this as leverage for himself, because if he lengthens the time it takes to fight Tom, it also hurts the UFC too, right? Because the UFC needs these fights. They need these big fights already, because there's a report that they might be going to Netflix, which means they need the biggest fights possible in order to get the best deal with Netflix. And if Jones is delaying this big fight, which is arguably the biggest fight the UFC can possibly put on right now, as a way to gain leverage, knowing that the UFC might be leaving ESPN, it's smart on his part, but at the same time, it's not good for anyone but him. It's not good for the sport. It's not good for the UFC. It's not good for the fans. I mean, we want to see this fight already. And as for Tom Aspinall, they've been hanging this guy on the shelves since July of 2024. This man has not fought since then, and he's been wanting to fight, right? He wants to unify the belts, right? Tom is the guy who's going to continue the division forward. He's going to be the star of the heavyweight division. If anything, like for business, the UFC should be catering to their future star, not the star that's about to retire. And the UFC needs stars. Like, they need big names in their organization. They don't have many of them. Big Unk defeated Alex Pereira, which threw away the plans of Jon Jones wanting to fight Alex instead of Tom, narrowing that road on one opponent now. There's really nobody else for Jon Jones to fight if he wants to continue to fight. Tom Aspinall's been wanting to fight ever since last year. He's in his prime. He's getting better with every fight, and they're hanging him to dry. Because who else does he have to fight? There is Ciryl Gane, okay, sure, defend your interim belt for the second time while the undisputed champion could just sit back and do whatever he wants. Now he needs half a year to train for Tom. If Jon Jones needs half a year to train for somebody, he's not ready for them. Imagine the negotiations get pushed until like August, October, December, something, And then he needs another half year to train after that. Tom, just move on. Just move on. He's not fighting you. Fight Ciryl Gane, defend your belt again. It's a wrap. I've never heard a fighter that doesn't want to fight the #1 contender like this, and at the same time needs half a year to train for them. This is just wasting Tom Aspinall's time. It's like Michael Chandler winning for Conor at this point. Jones will fight Stipe. He wanted to fight Alex Pereira. He'll fight other guys, but he doesn't want to fight Tom. Do you know who needs 6 months to train? It's like if Grant Dawson tried to fight Islam Makhachev. Yeah, then maybe he needs that long to train. But for Jon Jones, he is the king of the division. right? He needs to train that long for the #1 contender, not the other way. How does that make any sense? The champion needs more time to get ready for the #1 contender than the #1 contender needs to get ready for the champion. Who's more ready for who in that fight? It's Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's been wanting to fight him already. Like, maybe Tom Aspinall was right. He will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. Since I will not fight, he's going completely quiet, and he'll continue to go completely quiet about me until he retires, because there's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. I want to fight more than anybody. I've been training non-stop. I've been so consistent. When the time comes, there's going to be something special. Do you remember what I said quite a while ago now? I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. That's something that I said. John, let's do it. Do you want to do it? You don't have to ask me twice. If not, I'll fight somebody else for the undisputed belt. Happy to fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter, I'm ready to go. We've talked about this Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall thing for a long time, and it gets more ridiculous over time. Like, now Jones needs to train for him for half a year. Like, that's only after the fight is signed. It didn't seem like he was injured when he fought Stipe. That still has nothing to do with him having a 6-month training camp where there's a higher risk of injuries. Right, training camps are very hard. You train multiple times a day. Now, it would be the biggest fight of his entire career in terms of the opponent's skills and attributes. Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous fight in Jon Jones' entire career by far. It's a fighter who's bigger than him, faster than him, more athletic than him in his prime, can wrestle, can strike, has one-punch knockout power, the shortest average fight time in UFC history. Tom Aspinall is statistically the most dangerous fighter in the UFC. That is Jones' next opponent, so I understand that he needs to get prepared for him, right? He needs to train the most intelligent way possible, because this is his most difficult fight. But 6 months seems too much. Like, nobody trains for a specific opponent for that long, because at that point, there's a risk of diminishing returns with injuries, and you can get sick during the training camp with all the stress, which can also throw Jones into more partying, right? There's nothing wrong with partying, but you don't want to do that during training camp, of course, which is something that Jones does, right? He said he's partied during training camp before. Now, imagine half a year without partying, and at this point, I mean, I already thought that this fight wasn't going to happen, but now it seems less likely that the fight's going to happen. With new stipulations with the Jon Jones fight, then what's Tom going to be doing during that? Tom's going to be waiting, what, 4 months from when the fight is signed and then go into training camp for the last 2 months, which is a normal training camp? The length of a training camp that most fighters need is like 2 months. Tom doesn't need half a year to train for anybody. It's going to be probably a year and a half since Tom Aspinall's last fight, and that's only if the fight gets signed first. The training camp stuff is not even the hardest part. It's getting Jon Jones to sign the fight. That is the hardest part for Dana, for Tom, for the fans. That's what everyone is waiting for, is Jones to accept the fight. Either way, it doesn't seem that the fight's going to happen, unless Dana does give him the money he's asking for. Every fighter will fight depending on the money. So we'll see if Jon Jones accepts the fight, and if it does get announced, it'll be a massive fight, huge for the UFC, huge for all the fans. But if not, it is what it is. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.